If you're looking for an unusual pet that is low maintenance, clean, and quiet, then reptiles may be the perfect fit for you. But before you go out and buy one, it's important to know if they're good pets and how to care for them properly. Let's get into it. Reptiles are becoming increasingly popular as pets, especially bearded dragons, leopard geckos, and ball pythons. Bearded dragons are native to Australia and can live up to 15 years in the wild. They get their name from the spiky scales on their necks, which they puff up when threatened or during mating season. Bearded dragons are omnivores, meaning they eat both plants and animals. In the wild, they prey on insects, worms, and small lizards, but will also happily munch on fruits and vegetables. Leopard geckos are native to parts of Asia and Africa and can live up to 20 years in captivity. They have distinctive spots or leopard-like patterns on their skin, hence their name. Leopard geckos are insectivores, meaning they primarily eat insects. Ball pythons are native to sub-Saharan Africa and can live up to 30 years in captivity. They get their name from the way they curl up into a ball when threatened, and they are constrictors, meaning they squeeze their prey until it suffocates. Ball pythons typically eat rodents such as mice and rats. Now that we know what we're dealing with, let's talk about housing, feeding, and enrichment for these reptiles. Housing is an important consideration when it comes to reptiles because they need a controlled environment to thrive. Most reptiles need a terrarium with a heating lamp, a UVB light, and a hiding place. The size of the terrarium depends on the size of the reptile. For example, a ball python will need a much larger terrarium than a leopard gecko. The type of substrate or material at the bottom of the terrarium also needs to be considered. Some reptiles, such as leopard geckos, do well on a tile floor, while others, such as ball pythons, prefer a more natural substrate such as wood chips or leaves. It's also important to provide enrichment for reptiles. This can include things such as branches for climbing, rocks for basking, and plants for hiding. Enrichment is important for keeping reptiles healthy and happy. A bored reptile may become destructive or develop behavioral problems. Now that we know how to house our scaly friends, let's talk about feeding. We know that bearded dragons are omnivores, leopard geckos are insectivores, and ball pythons are carnivores. But how often do they need to eat, and how much? Baby reptiles typically need to eat more often than adult reptiles. For example, baby bearded dragons need to be fed daily, while adult bearded dragons only need to be fed every 2 to 3 days. The amount of food a reptile needs to eat depends on its size and activity level. For example, a more active reptile will need to eat more than a less active reptile. It's also important to provide a variety of foods to reptiles to ensure they get all the nutrients they need. For example, bearded dragons can eat fruits, vegetables, insects, and small vertebrates. Ball pythons should be fed frozen and thawed rodents such as mice and rats. Feeding reptiles is not only about meeting their nutritional needs, but also about providing mental stimulation. Some reptiles can get bored of eating the same thing every day, so it's important to mix things up. For example, you can try feeding your bearded dragon different fruits and vegetables or feeding your leopard gecko different types of insects. It's also important to monitor the size of the prey item relative to the size of the snake. For example, a ball python should not eat prey that is wider than the widest part of its body. If you're unsure about what to feed your reptile or how much to feed them, consult with a reptile specialist. All right, now that we know how to feed our reptiles, let's talk about their health. Reptiles are susceptible to a variety of health problems just like any other animal. Some common reptile health problems include respiratory infections, metabolic bone disease, and parasites. Respiratory infections in reptiles can cause symptoms such as sneezing, coughing, and difficulty breathing. Metabolic bone disease occurs when reptiles don't get enough calcium or vitamin D3, leading to weak bones and other health problems. Parasites are another common problem in reptiles and can cause a range of issues. Regular vet checkups are essential to catch any potential health problems early on. It's also important to be aware of the signs of illness in reptiles, such as changes in appetite, behavior, or appearance. While some reptile illnesses can be treated, others are unfortunately incurable. Therefore, it's crucial to take preventative measures, such as providing a proper diet and maintaining a clean terrarium to keep your reptile healthy and avoid potential problems. Even though reptiles are relatively low-maintenance pets, they still require regular cleaning of their enclosure to maintain a healthy environment. Cleaning a reptile enclosure involves removing uneaten food, cleaning the water dish, and spot cleaning any soiled areas. The frequency of cleaning depends on the type of reptile and the size of their enclosure. Generally, spot cleaning should be done every 1 to 2 weeks, while a full cleaning should be done every 6 to 12 months. It's important to use reptile-safe cleaners to avoid any harmful residue in the enclosure. When cleaning, remove all the decorations and scrub them separately using a mild soap and water solution. Rinse thoroughly and disinfect before placing them back in the enclosure. During the process, ensure that the reptile is housed temporarily in a smaller container with proper heating and lighting. Once the tank is clean and dry, reintroduce the reptile and replenish any resources such as food and water. By following these steps, you can keep your reptile's environment clean and healthy. While reptiles are fascinating creatures, they are not the right fit for everyone. Here are some reasons why you should reconsider getting one as a pet. First, commitment. Reptiles can live for many years, some even up to 30 years. So it's important to consider whether you can commit to providing proper care for their entire lifespan. Second, cost. Like any pet, reptiles require financial commitment. They need specialized housing, lighting, heating, and veterinary care, which can add up over time. Third, handling. Some reptiles may not enjoy being handled frequently, which can lead to bites, scratches, or other injuries. If you want a pet that you can cuddle, a reptile may not be the best choice. Fourth, legality. Certain species of reptiles may be illegal to own as pets in your area. Check local regulations before considering a reptile as a pet. Fifth, allergies. Some people may be allergic to reptiles, so it's important to spend time with one before committing to ensure you won't have a reaction. Lastly, lifestyle. Reptiles need specific environmental conditions to thrive, such as a controlled temperature and humidity levels. If you travel often or have an unpredictable schedule, it may be difficult to provide the necessary care. There are many factors to consider before getting a reptile as a pet. They can make great companions, but it's important to weigh the pros and cons and ensure you can provide the necessary care and commitment before taking the plunge. Overall, reptiles can make wonderful pets for the right owner. They're unique, interesting to watch, and can be quite affectionate. Just remember to do your research. Be prepared to commit and provide the proper care and attention they need to thrive. Now that you know whether reptiles are good pets for you, it's time to learn about caring for them. If you want to learn more about reptiles, check out this playlist here. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.